This is Dr. Jessica Han. In this section, we're going to talk about prokaryotes. Living things are very diverse, from simple single-celled bacteria to complex multicellular organisms. Based on the structure of cell membrane and the ribosome RNA, all the living things can be divided into three big domains. These three big domains are bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. Prokaryotes are the common ancestors of life. Nowadays, prokaryotes include domain bacteria and domain archaea. Prokaryotes play an important role in human life. They can recycle nutrients, help with the digestion, and they can form human microbiome. Prokaryotes can live in extreme environmental conditions. Prokaryotes were the first forms of life on Earth. At early atmosphere, the Earth is lack of oxygen, so only anaerobic organisms could grow. Cyanobacteria are able to use carbon dioxide as a source of carbon and begin to process molecules using oxygen. Cyanobacteria exists in the hot spring in the Yellowstone National Park. The color of cyanobacteria in the spring is green. As water flows down the heat gradient at the edges of the stream, the density of cyanobacteria is high. Therefore, the color of the edges of the stream is green. Prokaryotes can form microbial mat. Microbial mat is a large biofilm. The evidence to support the formation of microbial mat started about 3.5 million years ago. The first microbial mats likely obtained their energy from hydrothermal vents. Extremophiles are prokaryotes that have been found in extreme environmental conditions. These conditions include the depths of the oceans, hot springs, the Arctic and the Antarctic, very dry places, deep inside Earth, harsh chemical environments, and high radiation areas. A biofilm is a microbial community held together in a gummy-textured matrix. This matrix primarily consists of polysaccharides secreted by the organisms, together with some proteins and nucleic acids. Interactions among the organisms that produce biofilm make these communities more robust than our free-living forms. Prokaryotes fall into three basic categories based on their shape. They can be spherical, rod-shaped, or spiral-shaped. Prokaryotes are unicellular organisms that lack organelles. It contains DNA, but it does not have a true nucleus. It has cell membrane and a ribosome. Outside of the cell membrane, they have a cell wall. Some prokaryotes has a capsule outside of cell wall to prevent the cell to be dehydrated. There are two types of bacteria. One is called gram-positive bacteria. The other one is called gram-negative bacteria. The gram-positive bacteria, the cell wall is thick. The gram-negative bacteria, the cell wall is thin. In gram-negative bacteria, the cell wall is surrounded by an outer layer cell membrane. The two types of bacteria can be differentiated by some chemical tests. Archaea also belong to the prokaryotes. The cell wall for bacteria contains peptidoglycans, but the cell walls of archaea do not contain this molecule. There are four different types of archaea cell walls. One type is composed of pseudopeptidoglycans, which is not the true peptidoglycans. The other three types of cell walls contain polysaccharides, glycoproteins, and surface layer proteins known as S layers. The reproduction of prokaryotes is through asexual method. The approach they use is called binary fission. Prokaryotes can alter their genetic makeup by three mechanisms of obtaining exogenous DNA. The first one is transformation. The cell takes in DNA found in its environment. The second is transduction. For example, viruses, that infect bacteria move DNA from one cell to another bacteria. The third mechanism is conjugation. The DNA is transferred from one prokaryote to another by means of a pilus that brings the organisms into contact with one another. All pathogenic prokaryotes are bacteria. There are records of infectious diseases as far back as 3000 BC. MRSA is a pathogenic bacteria. It's resistant to many commonly used antibiotics such as penicillin or amoxicillin. Bacteria can cause foodborne diseases. A foodborne disease is an illness resulting from the consumption of food contaminated with pathogenic bacteria, virus, or other parasites. Most cases of foodborne illness are linked to produce contaminated by animal waste. For example, there have been serious produce-related outbreaks associated with raw spinach in the United States and with vegetable sprouts in Germany. Humans have used prokaryotes to create products that are beneficial for their life. For example, cheese, yogurt, sour cream, vinegar, curd sausage, sauerkraut, and the fermented seafood all need bacteria to help to make them. Some prokaryotes are very useful in helping remove the agricultural chemicals, toxic metals, and oil spills. The use of prokaryotes to remove pollutants is called microbial bioremediation. There are 10 to 100 times as many bacterial and archaeal cells can live in our bodies. Prokaryotes form a mutual beneficial relationship with humans. For example, gut flora aid in digestion, iron absorption, and vitamin production. In summary, prokaryotes are the origin of life. Bacteria and archaea use asexual reproduction. Some are beneficial, others are pathogenic. Bacteria and archaea are important in maintaining human health and our living environments. This summarizes the section of prokaryotes.